What's happening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Final Third presented by the Gold Boys Network. I am one of your hosts, Sam, aka FIFA Brit, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Brad Thomas and Betting the Pitch. Gentlemen, how was the weekend for you? Because for me, as an Arsenal fan, it was probably one of the worst ones I've had to go through in a while.
Man, for me, financially it was great, right? Like the bets were hitting. I wish I would have hit both teams to score to finish off the parlay with in West Ham, but they got shut out at home against Fulham. That kind of stunk. From a futures better, it was not good though, because I'm sitting with that Liverpool ticket that I've had since preseason and horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah, that was
Not getting a single goal against Crystal Palace, but that makes back-to-back scoreless games across all competitions. It's kind of embarrassing if you're asking me.
That is pretty embarrassing. That is pretty embarrassing. And of course, I made fun of them for not beating Palace.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I just knew that like instant karma would return. And, not that I thought it would happen so quickly, but yeah, I kind of got what I asked for there.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, betting wise, at least. We gave out a ton of plays on the last podcast that hit, which always feels good. And the plays in the Discord seem to be doing well as always. So had a good weekend. Excited for Champions League, and then another weekend of some more footy.
Yeah, let's not forget we cashed that goal scorer's parlay. Unfortunately, my
Let's
leg
go.
didn't really contribute to much, but it didn't count against it either because he didn't even sub in. So you could
Hey
have
Sam,
taken
thanks for
that.
carrying your weight on that parlay, man.
Yeah, I did really did my best. Really did my best. But he didn't even sub in, so you could have taken that on any book and not even had to worry about him coming in. He just sat the whole game, which is beautiful. But yeah, Brad, we got Isak scoring in that absolute demolition of Spurs, which gave me some joy. And then Cole Palmer with what, four
God,
goals? That
a
was
four spot.
he didn't need to score that many. Now he's tied with Haaland in the Golden Boot race. That's pretty wild. But yeah, you would have, I'm not sure exactly what the odds would have cashed at because it was about 10 to 1 with Tony, probably somewhere in like the 4 or 5 to 1 region. But yeah, it hit. So we're officially 1 for 1 on our official collaboration podcast bets. Can't really go wrong with that.
No, you can't. Listen, good vibes all around. I knew once Isak was scoring, Palmer was absolutely scoring. Dude was plus 140 to score a goal, but minus 143, two shots on target. You knew the dude was going to get his opportunities against poor Everton.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
Everton.
Do you guys think this title race is City is to lose now at this point? You think it's wrapped up?
Yeah, dude, they have like a pretty cakewalk. Like
Yeah.
that was the danger. I think they were talking about this on Premier League Morning Live, is where every year to end the season in a title race, there's always one team who loses the game you don't think is going to happen. It's just whoever loses it first. It's kind of understandable. Arsenal, you might drop points to Villa, but they lost outright. Then Liverpool losing outright to Crystal Palace. That's happened twice. We look at the remaining fixtures for City, and Tottenham might be the only
Yeah.
one that I'm like would have legitimate fears about
Yeah.
if I were a City holder or a City fan. But the rest, like, I mean, Brighton are not the same team. They've lost their spark since early in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Then Forest, Wolves, Fulham. Come on.
Wolves are one of those teams that could randomly just do. Didn't they beat City earlier in the season? Didn't City drop points to them
They
somehow?
dropped points to them, but listen, that was a different Wolves team.
Yeah.
Like if Neto's not healthy by then, if Wang's not healthy by then, who else is out? They also have another guy. Belgrade's out. Like if
Yeah.
these guys aren't healthy by then, I just don't see them like their defense is not good enough
Nah.
and they won't score enough to keep up.
Probably not, but Wolves have done Arsenal favors in the past. Wolves, I believe, were the team who ended Liverpool's unbeaten run when it was getting quite like I was getting worried for the first time in a while that the Arsenal 49 unbeaten run streak was going to finally die. And then Wolves beat Liverpool when they were at their peak. So I was Wolves did us a favor then, and I am once again asking for a favor now.
Yeah, I think City got a clear run here. I mean, unless they just slip up or overlook one of the teams. I mean, they're two away games, Brighton and Forest to start that. I mean, I like this Forest team. I think they're playing desperate footy, I guess you could say, and they're playing the spoiler. Who knows? But if City just continue to play the way that they're playing, it's their title to lose at this point.
Yeah, unfortunate, but I feel like this weekend really kind of.
I mean, the chances that Liverpool and Arsenal missed
Yeah.
in those games were insane. I had never
Yeah.
seen anything like it. Like our soccer chat was going crazy, and we're just like, I mean, point blank, just chances.
Yeah.
It's crazy how bad Darwin Nunez was. And then
Oh
did you
my
see when
God.
he got
And then he
taken
got
off?
so mad when
was
he got
like,
subbed. Oh yeah, he got so mad.
dude. He was like, I was like shocked they didn't sub him at halftime. Like, this dude's playing awful.
Yeah.
I felt like he was actually mad that he got subbed off and not like mad at himself for missing those
exactly. Like,
chances.
it felt like he was like, why on earth would you take me out, dude? Because
Yeah.
you're stinking the joint up. And there
Yeah.
wasn't like there was a nice little spark when Jota and Gakpo came in. It was a
for
nice
sure.
little spark.
For sure.
Jota's
It was-
good. He was on such a good run before he got hurt again. Like
Yep.
he was scoring and assisting like crazy, and then he's so injury prone. That's the problem.
And then he had a glorious chance that he missed too.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God,
Loads
it
of
was crazy.
chances in that game. Trossard for Arsenal had such a
Yep.
great chance right there. Just put it anywhere but at the goal.
Saka took what, 4 shots, not a single one on target.
Yeah. Yeah, they were tricky shots, to be fair. They
Yeah.
were from outside the box. A couple of them.
Wait, I feel like I talked about this. I can't remember if I talked about it on the podcast or I talked about it on another show. Unai Emery is like, if he sees another team do something tactically and they have success, he will implement it in his squad against that same team. And I felt like he had a very similar game plan, and it ended up working out. Like, kudos to him. Sorry for you, obviously, but it just shows like when you get a good tactical manager, how it can just literally elevate your club.
Yeah, no, he's very good at adapting his game plan and changing his game plan if it needs it.
Yeah,
that's one of the few things I don't think Arteta is brilliant at. I think he's very good tactically, but I don't think he's very good at changing what needs to be changed, like on the fly during a game.
Now speaking of change, is it time for Ramsdale?
No.
Ramsdale's okay.
No, I don't. I love Ramsdale as a person. I think he seems super nice, but he's so prone to making a mistake that could kill the entire game. Raya doesn't, in general, Arsenal goalkeepers don't get tested that much because our defensive midfield are elite at preventing chances that are dangerous. And so, it's kind of hard to say if they're like good goalkeepers simply because they're not forced into making crazy saves that often. But Ramsdale just has so many potential like issues. I'm never comfortable with him in goal. And when he had to play against Brentford because Raya was still tied by his loan, he made the mistake and literally gifted the goal to Wissa, who knew barely anything about it. Like props to him for closing it down and getting a foot in. But Raya's
the last 2 games. I mean, Raya 4 shots on target, 4 goals.
Yeah, but one is the penalty against Bayern.
I know. I'm just saying, it's like
the other Bayern goal was not his fault. I don't think it was a silly. Maybe he could have done better because he did get a bit of contact on that, but he should never have had to save that. Is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a mistake that we should be preventing before it even gets to him. And then Villa played well. We should have taken our chances, and Villa's chances were well taken. So. I'm definitely Team Raya at this point. The same way that I don't want Zinchenko back in the lineup ever again. I don't want Ramsdale back in the lineup ever again. They're both such defensive liabilities that anything they could potentially offer, like you could say Zinni offers more offensively, probably true. You could say Ramsdale's a better shot stopper than Raya, probably true. But I don't think any of their pros outweigh their defensive liabilities.
That's fair.
Well, as we're talking about Saka, and we've been talking about Palmer coming off a 4-goal performance, I think it's time we finally sat down and had this debate. And as someone who spends a lot of time on Twitter, I see this debate being had all the time. So let's do it. Let's sit down and do it. Saka, Foden, or Palmer. Right now, who is the better player? I'm not going to start because we all know where I'm going to go with this. But if you guys want to take it away here and let me know what you think, because I'm actually curious and I have thoughts, but I will listen first like a respectable gentleman.
I'm surprised you didn't just like take the stage and be like, guys, I'm going to tell you why Saka's the best player and you're going to agree with me. Let me go first. I I did a start bench cut video where I interviewed like 30 footy fans for the Premier League, and you'd be shocked how many people cut Saka. I'd say it was probably like 58% people cut Saka. I'm going with Foden. And I know BTP saw on social what I said about Palmer. Like with Palmer having a massive game today, you could have that recency bias, but there's a difference between Foden and Palmer of who needs to score the goals. Like they're not looking for Foden to score every single goal. If Palmer's not the main man scoring goals for Chelsea, they're in trouble. Like they don't like Nicholas Jackson. I'm a big Jackson fan, but this dude's not going to give you quality goals every single time. I don't have a problem with Saka. I do think that, if you can neutralize his pace, he becomes a little predictable. But, that's a big if. We're not saying any of these guys are bad, right? Like, let's just put that very clear. These are all really great players, really good players. So it's just talking about your preference. I'd prefer Phil Foden. I think he has a better shot. I think he's a smarter off the ball. And I don't know, man. I have trouble because I like rooting for Saka. I have hella Saka jerseys, but I have trouble when he plays against a talented defensive man who has pace. I have talent because I think I can tell you what he's going to do. And if me, the guy with zero footy experience on the pitch outside of, playing in like league, if I can tell you what he's going to do, you can guarantee a manager's going to tactic him out, or they're going to try to neutralize him with an opposing player who has the pace. Palmer, I don't really have like anything terrible to say. I just feel like if you were to play on City, if you were to put Saka, Foden, Palmer on City, Palmer wouldn't be on the team. He wouldn't be dressing.
I think we know that because it's already happened.
Yes. Well, I'm talking, but we have to be fair.
Here's the issue.
This Palmer now is better than when he debuted for City.
But I think I think he didn't fit what Pep does and Pep's tactics at City. Is just how I feel. Foden's a way better fit at City
And a way better player.
So here's my take. If I were to start a team, let's say today, and I had the first pick and I was picking one of these guys, I'm picking Phil Foden. Let's be honest.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Cole Palmer.
No, I'm really picking Phil Foden. Let's be honest. I mean, obviously, so we got to have a little fun. Okay. I get so many clicks and comments and everything from my Palmer over Foden.
Hell yeah,
posts.
you did.
It's crazy. Dude, so many. So it's good. It's good to get like, the interactions up on Twitter.
Bait used to be believable.
Yeah, so and people take it real serious and you got to joke around, have a little fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. Obviously, bias coming, after watching Palmer today score 4 goals, just unbelievable.
Great timing.
Perfect. I mean, I had to bring that tweet back from when I said it in August of 23. So like I had to bring that one back. But I just don't think Palmer, I don't think, Palmer's 2 years younger than Foden, I believe. So
yeah, he's like 21. Yeah.
21.
Yeah, so I mean, he's 21.
The oldest. Let's put Foden's the oldest.
And that's another thing too. I mean, Foden's got a couple years on the guys, but he is the better player of the three. I don't know what to Saka's a tough one for me. I just don't know what to think of him because there's games where it's like, holy shit. And then there's other games where it's like, but Palmer's the same way. But I just feel like right now, this Palmer is just, I mean, he's just so dominant at Chelsea. And I think he fits like what they're doing, and playing that attacking mid is just like, because when KDB was out for City, I think Palmer filled that spot nicely for them while he was out. And that's where he kind of got some playing time. When KDB,
did he really get that much playing time? I barely remember him touching the field for City, honestly.
When KDB was out and he kind of filled that spot for a couple games, I don't know if it was like the FA Cup or like the cup matches or things like that.
Matches. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he played that role. He played that KDB role. And I think that's what he kind of does on this, Chelsea squad. But he can, he's got a banger of a shot. And so for me, honestly, for all the people, all the keyboard warriors out there that came after me today, it would be Foden. Okay, let's all settle down. It would be Foden. All right. And then I don't know, I'd be torn. I'm invested in Palmer as far as like hobby wise with like trading cards and things like that. So I'm gonna cut Saka. Sorry, Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's rough.
Sorry, Sam.
That's
brutal. Sam, who's your star boy?
I literally just put out a tweet that says if you put Palmer above either of these two players, you're so wrong. It hurts me.
I saw that.
That's brutal. look, I think Foden's having a good season. I think Palmer's having a good season. I think that the problem for me right now is that neither of these guys have really proven themselves over like multiple seasons and at like the highest level. Even last season, I don't think Foden contributed to City's Champions League that much significantly.
I looked up the stats.
Oh,
8
yeah?
games, started
Okay.
3, 1 goal, 1 assist.
Okay. Well, the fact that he only started 3, I'm not going to hold it against him, but I'm just saying if he was better, he would have played more. That's like 1 goal and 1 assist and 3 starts. It's like, okay, cool. A good player would have more starts. And I don't know. Cole Palmer is having a great season. He's tied with Haaland in the Golden Boot standings, which is ridiculous, honestly. Like that's so impressive. But we've had so many players in the Prem have one good season. We've had so many players. Dele Alli. Who remembers Dele Alli? Remember Dele
Yeah,
Alli?
Yes.
yeah.
Actually, speaking of Dele Alli, he said that he's preparing for the World Cup. I don't know if
did
you
see
guys saw
that.
that.
Yeah. At the age of what, 28, 29, he was a pundit on Sky Sports today. If that's any indication of how his playing career has gone since he had one
Man,
fantastic season.
what a
Like,
wasted talent that was.
yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened to him, but you just,
I saw some documentary or something, like he had some demons,
yeah.
like I think he had a bad childhood and some things, and it just kind of, I don't think he ever got past it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame because I mean
Yeah.
he had like one really fantastic season. And then he went off the boil. I think he went to go and play in Turkey or something like that. And then he came back to Everton and then now he's a Sky Sports pundit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of unless someone else takes a chance on him, that's his career done.
Mhm.
And
No one's taking a chance on him, right?
no,
Like,
no one's gonna take a
No.
chance on him. Maybe,
not
do
at
you
that
know what?
age.
I think Spurs could give him a go. It probably wouldn't be terrible to take him back. It probably wouldn't cost that much money, and you could, fit him in if Madison gets hurt or put him as a holding mid somewhere. He could do it. But I need to see it again from
I
Palmer.
just don't think he gets better. Like, I don't think he makes a team better. That's what I always ask when you take chance on someone. Are they coming in to just be a body on the pitch? Or are they there to make your team better?
Yeah, yeah. But that's what I think is, that's the season that Palmer's having. He's had this is a very fantastic season, but I want to see him do it again next season and the season after that. Maybe he doesn't put up the same numbers. Maybe he gets 15 goals and 10 assists. Okay. That's still a very good season. That's very respectable. But if he doesn't do it again, then we're not going to have this debate. He's had a very good solitary season. Same with Foden. Foden had a decent season as a rotation player for City, which is, to be fair, a team where it's hard to start every game, but the good players do. Haaland is going to start every important game. De Bruyne's going to start every important game if he's fit. Now Foden's finally taken on that role, and he's having a chance to shine. He's having his moment in the sun. But Saka's been doing this for several seasons now. Last season, Salah and Saka were the only players in the entire Premier League to have double-digit goals, double-digit assists. Like that was the level he was on, and no one else touched it. This season, a few people are going to hit that. Ollie Watkins is the first player to hit it. He's currently the only person with double-digit goals and assists. So, everyone else has raised the bar. So Saka might not be standing out as much, but he's still at a very high level. And people were telling me on Twitter, Saka has to prove himself in the Champions League because he hasn't played in the Champions League before. And I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Now he's got like the joint most assists. He's like second in goals and assists, and he just scored a goal against Bayern Munich in a quarterfinal. They keep shifting the goalpost. They said he had to perform in the Champions League. He performs in the group stages. They said, wow, Arsenal had a really easy group stage. He's got to do it in the knockouts. He's doing it in the knockouts. Now they're going to say he's got to win a Champions League like Foden did, even though Foden barely contributed to the Champions League he has won. So I think there's a lot of recency bias involved. I think people are just kind of saying, oh, Foden's had a great season. Oh, Foden scored in the Manchester derby, scored a banger from outside the box. Has Saka ever done that? Oh, I wonder, has Saka scored a goal against Man U from outside the box? Yeah, he did it last season. Did everyone forget that? Like, he's done that. Everything Foden's doing now, Saka has done.
I think I'm going to cut you off.
Okay, do it.
I think what is being missed in these conversations is people being for real about the expectations of each player, right? The bar for Saka is set higher than it is for Foden and Palmer because, like you said, Saka has been at this longer. He's
Yeah.
been a regular starter longer. He's been the superstar on his team longer.
Mhm.
Whereas Foden, he is not that superstar on his team. He's not relied upon, and Palmer's just now starting to have that happen to him, right?
Yeah.
So when Saka doesn't, basically they want Saka to be Harry Kane, right? Like Harry Kane contributes in every fashion in every
Yeah.
game he plays, right? Saka's just not there yet. And when the argument happens on social media with irrational soccer fans, they want that. If not, they're going to go to the next guy, Foden, who the bar's not as high.
Mhm.
And if we're being honest, right, people want Foden to just be as good as Saka. And then they
Yeah.
could say, then they can talk that trash. The bar for Foden in the conversation starts at Saka.
Yeah. He's the
And that's just a
benchmark.
realistic way to look at it. I do think Foden's crazy talented,
He
but I
is.
just want to say that, like, it's not people are moving the goalposts. It's just the expectations are much higher for Saka than it is for the other two.
Yeah, that's true. I always say on Twitter, whenever anyone starts making these comparisons, I'm always like, yeah, you know why? Saka is the benchmark. Whenever Foden has a good game, he's better than Saka. Whenever Palmer has a good game, he's better than Saka. Whenever Saka has a bad game, they always come up. But no one talks about Palmer having a bad game. No one talks about Foden having a bad game, because if Foden has a bad game, it probably means Haaland scored a hat trick, you know? And no one's gonna say Foden played poorly. They're just gonna say, wow, City won 5-1 again. Okay, well done, Haaland. No one talks about that because the team can perform.
For some reason in sports, it's not just in soccer, it's all sports. People love to hate the really good players.
Oh yeah.
People love to hate
for
Tom
sure.
Brady in the NFL.
Oh, God,
People
yeah.
love to hate Cristiano Ronaldo. People love to hate, and the list just goes on. It's like these guys have done so much for the sport.
Yeah.
They have done, they played their position to the highest level. They're the best at what they do. Okay. And I'm not saying that, Saka is the best at what he does, but like he's played at a very high level. He's a very skilled player. He's just as good, if not better, than Foden and Palmer. I mean, he's better than Palmer, but like he's
Thanks, I got it.
he's just as good, if not better than Foden. It's just, people just love to hate someone who's had success in sports for some reason. And I don't get it, but it just it happens in every sport.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? You know, like during this domestic season, I'm obviously going to defend my player. But come the summer, when England are repping in the Euros, that's when you realize, wow, the players in the Champions League with the most goals and assists, it's Kane, Foden, Bellingham, and Saka. And then you ask yourself, how can England mess this up? And then the answer is going to be Gareth Southgate screwing around somehow. And that's not even talking about Palmer. You know,
That guy's the worst, by the way.
we could
Yeah,
have
we could
that
go.
debate.
We'll have to when that time comes.
When
but
Euros
that guy
come
is
out.
the
We'll
worst.
say this, Sam. I love the timing. I was looking at StatMuse, see what they talked about. You know, Cole Palmer, 11 non-penalty goals this season, and guess who they compared him to? Saka.
Yeah.
9.
Well, that StatMuse account loves a little bit of interaction baiting.
Honestly,
They do a good job at it.
I had to do this because StatMuse was going crazy for Palmer stats today because of the game he had.
Yeah.
So most goals in the Chelsea debut in the Premier League season, 20, which is tied with Diego Costa.
That's wild.
Goals in first full Premier League season, 20 for Palmer. The next is 17 for Thierry Henry. And then what was the other one? 9-9 on penalties.
Yeah,
he has
that's
11
underrated.
non-penalty goals, blah, blah, blah. Palmer goals for Chelsea, 19. Havertz, Mount, and Sterling combined last season had 16.
Yeah, well,
just like
Chelsea were not good.
he's just having a crazy season is what it is. And it's what have you done for me lately kind of stats with him.
I know.
And I'd like to see him do it again next year and the year after that and have some consistency. But to end the debate, for me, it would be Foden. And then I'd probably lean Saka, cut Palmer, but
yeah, I knew I was about to
for the sure fact that I have investments in Palmer.
He's thinking
I gotta
money
stay
first.
with Palmer.
Yeah,
Always. Same with Garnacho.
I was gonna say,
I mean,
I was
I love my boy Garnacho. I got investments in him too.
Garnacho can fuck off. He's not even in this.
All
This
right.
debate.
Settle down.
Settle
Down.
All right, let's move into European football. I think we've exhausted this topic.
Probably. Although I should confirm in case anyone didn't tell from how I've been talking. I'm starting Saka, I'm benching Foden, and I'm cutting Palmer. That's the official one. But yeah, as Brad said, I think we've done pretty well with this one. We've done pretty well with this one, so let's move into some Champions League. Well, we have Barcelona against PSG. I think we touched upon this in the first episode. We have Barcelona winning 3-2 on aggregate. How do we think that one's going? I think we all feel that Barcelona is going through, but what do we think the game's going to be like?
I think it's going to be something like 2-2. I didn't get a chance to check the health of the Barcelona midfield. I know they had some question marks, and then they had players get suspended, going to be out for this match. I feel like I didn't think PSG played a terrible match. I think Mbappé ghosted.
Yeah.
They gave up some really bad counters, some really bad goals in that match. I have this match ending in a draw, which obviously brings Barca to come through.
Yeah.
From a betting standpoint, the only thing I was going to bet was maybe both teams to score. Don't trust PSG away from home and keeping a clean sheet at all.
Nope.
And then Barca without the midfield that they are going to need, especially against Mbappé. You know, Mbappé is not going to be kept silent back-to-back matches. I'd probably bet Mbappé, honestly, to score a goal. I was looking at some crazy parlays today, like the pre-made parlays. They all freaking suck, by the way. So I probably will stay away from those. I know I took a lot last game, but I would probably bet Mbappé to score. I don't even know what he is. It's probably going to be like plus 100. Let's see. Want to take a guess? Anybody know off the top of their head?
It is.
Yeah.
Wow, even money. Surprise, surprise.
They respect Barcelona's defense. And honestly, as someone who doesn't like to praise Barcelona, I don't think they've lost a game since January, which is kind of crazy.
They've been hot.
Yeah. Ever since Xavi said that he was done, the team was just like, all right, now we're going to start trying. We got the guy fired. Now we're going to start playing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's can they contain Mbappe again? I mean, you got to think that PSG is going to try something different and figure some way to get him into some space and get him free. I mean, you have to.
He's got to have more freedom. He was just glued to the left side, like
he
glued.
He really
they were
was.
sitting two at him, one below, one up top. And like, what are you going to do? Like, have to dribble between someone every single time you want to get to the box?
Yeah, lineup depending. This feels like a goals kind of game for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, maybe again kind of game. The over three is kind of juiced a little bit. It's like hovering around 150, but I wouldn't mind like taking maybe both team totals. Barcelona's is around like 140 and PSG's is plus money. So if you just hit, you just got to really hit one of them and you can kind of be somewhat in the profit, hopefully. But yeah, I'm with Brad on this one. I feel like it's going to be like a 2-2, 2-1, maybe 3-2 again kind of game.
I like that. Honestly, the only thing I'm sure of, and it's something I love attacking whenever second legs comes around, I'm always all over the losing team taking shots, because they have to. Like, you have no alternative at this point. And Mbappe to take 2 shots in the first half is minus 130. And he doesn't even have to put them on target, That works for me. He's cleared that line in 5 out of his last 6 games, I think I had written down. And yeah, at minus 130, when he's going to be like the focal point of that entire attack, I think I'm going to lock that in right now, honestly. I love that line. Outside of that, I don't really trust anyone. Well, not that I don't trust anyone. Like, Barcelona still have some very good players, but I'm just always so hesitant to bet on the team that's winning in a second leg, just because there's just so much incentive for them to control the game rather than attack if they're not forced to. Like, yeah, they might want a goal to put the game away, but they don't necessarily have to. So that's why I'm usually more hesitant, but I'm probably going to end up playing Rafinha first half shots because he takes shots from basically everywhere.
Yeah, he does. He's definitely the shooter for Barcelona for sure.
Yeah. And then the other game we have on Tuesday is Dortmund against Atletico. Atletico are winning this one 2-1 on aggregate going into the game in Germany. And again, I think we all kind of leaned Atletico going through here. And I think it depends on the lineup. If Marlon's not playing for Dortmund, then I'm not touching them with a 10-foot pole. But I hope he's fit for their sake, because I also like betting on his shots. But what are you guys leaning over here?
I lean under 3 because I think this game could end 1-1, 1-0. Man, we said it in the first podcast we had where Simeone is just such a great manager. Like, even when things got kind of rough and bumpy for them in that match against Dortmund, Haller came in and scored the goal. He still was able to lock it down and then head to Germany with a 1-goal lead on aggregate, right?
Yeah.
Like I lean Atletico, probably lean the under. Not playing anything in a bet right away. Maybe if Adeyemi starts, I might take first half shots for him. You could probably take Dortmund first half corners. Like at Atletico already don't win corner handicaps on the road. Now
Yeah.
imagine corner handicaps on the road and they're up 1-0 on aggregate, or I'm up 1 on aggregate, excuse me. So
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I lean unders. I lean Atletico double chance, even though they're not brilliant on the road.
yeah.
Dortmund are somehow worse just in general. And I also probably won't lock anything ahead of time, but I'm gonna if Marlon starts, I'm taking his first half shots because especially in Europe, the guy's been an absolute
Yes.
wagon. Like an absolute
Facts.
he does it and he does it so quickly as well. He loves, playing on that right wing, cutting it on his left. He shapes shots from basically everywhere. So anyone that shoots like that is a big friend of mine. But if he doesn't see the field, I'm probably not going to touch that game because you're right. I mean, Simeone has made an entire managerial career out of playing the most boring but effective football possible when he has to.
Yep.
And people are going to hate on him for doing that. They say, oh, you bang out 1-0s, you bang out 0-0s and take it to pens and get the result that way. It's like, okay, yeah, not every style of football has to be sexy. If it gets you the wins, if it wins you trophies, then fair enough. Who am I to say that you're doing it wrong if it goes well? And he's made a career out of locking it down at the back. So fair play to him. This is going to be a tough one for Dortmund, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is definitely lineup depending for me. The Dortmund kind of started, I felt like a weird lineup in the first leg. No Brandt, obviously Malen was hurt, but if Brandt starts, Malen starts, I kind of like Dortmund team total over 1.5 at plus money. That's where I'm leaning right now if their lineup is strong. I mean, they have to score. They got to go for it. I mean, it's Champions League. They're already down a goal. They're at home. Nothing to
Yep.
lose at this point. You got to go for it. Um, do I think that they can keep Atletico off the board? Probably not. So you got to think that they're going to have to score two, in order to take this into extra time. So I kind of like their team total at plus money, but like I said, it's definitely going to be lineup depending for me.
Fair enough. Now, moving into what might end up being the most exciting part
Oh
of the
yeah.
slate, especially considering how the first legs went. Wednesday, we have Bayern against Arsenal and City against Madrid. We'll start with Bayern against Arsenal just because I'm biased and I want to talk about it. I'll be perfectly honest. I locked in Bayern to advance at minus 114 last week, basically a day after the first leg was over.
Are you hedging your happiness, or is this?
Yeah, well, that's part of it, but I also think it's a nice number. And honestly, it was a nice number because that same bet is now minus 140 on FanDuel. So getting it at minus 114, I think people finally like, wow, Bayern at home, that might be a pretty decent thing to bet on. I still think Arsenal can get the result here, but the problem is I don't think we have an edge if the game goes to extra time the same way we did against Porto. We got the
Yeah.
goal against Porto, we neutralized them completely. It goes to extra time, it goes to pens. I think we have an edge there. I like Raya. I think we've got good takers. Problem is against Bayern, we
Yeah.
don't have depth off the bench. So they can sub on guys like Mueller. They can sub on Tell if he doesn't start, because I know
Goretzka, if he doesn't start,
yeah,
like
they've got a couple of injuries, so Tell might get the start, but they can sub on guys with experience,
yeah.
which is crazy. And then if it goes to a penalty shootout, you've got Neuer in goal, who's still fantastic, and you've got so many guys who have been at this stage before.
Yeah.
Which is just, that's so important, is the experience when it comes to extra time, if it comes to penalties. That experience is so important, and I don't see us having an edge there.
Yeah, nothing for me in this one. Just a tough feel for me and tough read. I'll be rooting for Arsenal for you, bud. But
Much
I don't
appreciated.
know. Yeah, as far as betting wise, I think I'm just gonna probably focus on the other game.
Fair enough. Brad, what are you thinking?
I kind of already gave my thoughts on this, but I didn't give my thoughts on this one. Time flies when you're having fun. I don't know, right? Like, I don't know if Arsenal are going to be able to break Bayern down. And like you said, I'm going to have to side with you. If this goes to penalties, I'm going to have to take the experience
Yeah.
of Bayern, right? Score prediction here, man. Damn. I'm gonna go 1-0 Bayern.
I was
They
gonna
score
say
on
it
the counter.
feels like a low scoring game.
Yeah, and
I was
I
gonna
feel like it's
say
Bayern that scores on the counter.
the way I feel this game going, it feels like a 2-1. I don't think it's going to extra time. I think it's going to be 2-1 and someone is scoring like an 88th minute dagger.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be like a big moment.
I think
And
it's gonna be low
I don't
scoring.
even think it's going to be, it could be Bayern, it could be Arsenal, but I think someone's getting a proper last minute winner here.
We'll see.
God, I
Crazy.
hope it's us because the league is cooked. It's Champions League or nothing for us. God,
Right.
we are Bayern.
You guys are both in the same little predicament where
Yeah.
I know.
It's rough. It's rough. But let's round out the Champions League talking about what I think most people are probably most excited for, Manchester City against Real Madrid. This one is 3-3 on aggregate going back to Manchester. Mr. Pitch, you have your Madrid kit on. I can see it, so I'm guessing you're a big City fan. Let's hear it. Let's
I'm
hear it. How do you think this is going? And please be as biased as possible so I can make fun of you if you're wrong.
I'm nervous, not gonna lie. I'm definitely nervous. Excited. I hope, obviously Madrid come out on top. I was hoping for a better result in the first leg, didn't get it. No Tchouaméni this game because of the yellow card.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that he probably runs Rudiger and Militao or Rudiger and Nacho. I don't know what he's going to do for the center backs. But I think the defense is probably going to be better than it was in the first leg. I'm hoping, but Tchouaméni's definitely going to be a miss. He's been an absolute spark for Madrid this season, so not having him is definitely going to suck. I'm going to go with the total on this one. I'm probably going to be on leaning goals. I just hope that it's just not a repeat of last year and a rout.
Yeah. That was
I just can't.
embarrassing.
I just can't do another year and another day of City fans housing me on Twitter. I just can't do it. But yeah,
That's fair.
I feel like it's either going to be a low scoring. I just don't know if Madrid can go, like toe for toe with United and Manchester, like goal for goal, like try and get into that kind of play.
yeah,
I feel like they would have to like really keep it like a 1-0 type victory if they're going to go on, or just hang on for dear life until penalties. And I like our chances in penalties.
Yeah. God,
So
I hope I assume you meant City because God, I would hope that you could beat United
yeah.
in
You said
Manchester.
oh,
United.
did I say
I
United?
You
Sorry.
did
I
say
was like,
United,
am
and I
I
was like,
missing
I think
something?
I think as I said Manchester, so I got
yeah.
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah, you're good.
the bar is low.
I'm looking at lines and talking to you the same. Yeah, so yeah, City, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
I
probably
like that you
leaning.
still associate United with Manchester and Manchester with United. That shows that City oil money just can't buy legacy or class, you know?
Manchester's red, right? Yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, truthfully, because obviously as a Madrid fan, I'm a tad biased and I'm rooting for them. So
Yeah. Take it away, Brad.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know you have no skin in this game, from a team perspective, as far as I'm aware. So curious to know what you
No,
make
I
of
don't.
it.
I don't have a. My only team's Juventus, and you guys know we're cheaters, so we didn't get a chance
Ah,
to participate.
unfortunate.
No, but I took City team total over 1.5 in the Capper Super League. I just think their quality at home so far has been great. It's no knock on Real Madrid, right? Like I don't know. Let me see how I can phrase this. If I were to take a bet in this match, on a score prediction or like a sided total, not a prop, I looked at the lines, right? I looked and I didn't see anything of value. Like you want to bet City to win -155. Do you think City are going to keep a clean sheet? City have kept what, 6 clean sheets this year?
yeah,
Not many.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
do you think they're going to keep a clean sheet against a team as talented as Real Madrid?
Well, they did
No.
last season.
Yes, but that City team was keeping way more clean sheets than
That's true.
this City team right now.
Very true.
So when I looked at the team total, I was like, this is just calling my name. Obviously, that number is absolutely destroyed now, and
Mhm.
it's cheaper to bet -155. But I think City are going to have to score twice if they want to win this one in regulation. And I think Pep wants to win in regulation. I
Yeah.
think he thinks his team is talented enough to win this. They're gonna freaking dominate possession. I think they dominated possession for like the first 35 minutes, and then the game came so out of whack. I couldn't keep up with possession and who's taking shots and who's scoring goals.
Yeah.
But they dominate possession. They're gonna. I have them scoring too. No idea what Real Madrid's gonna do. They're gonna definitely have their opportunities on the break. So that's my favorite bet from this game and City advance.
What
And I don't even
odds?
feel like that's like not even like a great thing to say because City to advance are minus 290, right?
Yeah,
Like
which is crazy.
crazy bold take from me.
Yeah, I mean, the over three, I think, what was it that I saw over three at? Over three was plus 100. So, if you think it's going to be a 2-1 type game, 2-2, 3-1, or something like that, I think I kind of lean there. Or obviously, if I really want to get crazy, I mean, Madrid team total over 1.5 at plus 240.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
that just seems
interesting.
like insane value
Yeah.
for a team that they're probably going to have to score to if this gets to a back and forth like it was in the first leg.
Mm-hmm.
And can they score two in Manchester? I think so.
Going to be interesting. Brad, what odds did you get on City team total over 1.5 originally?
It's like minus 140.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's like
That's
minus 180 now.
that's so nice.
Wow,
I'm
really?
jealous.
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, yeah.
it is.
Last I saw was this morning at like minus 160.
Yeah, no, it keeps
Holy
going.
Yeah, it keeps going up.
Everyone's
when did I
looking at the
bet
head
that?
to
I bet
head.
that on I can tell you the exact day and time. I bet that yesterday at no, I didn't. Wow. I bet it Friday at Friday morning.
Nice. Well, yeah, see, well,
Good
we're
play.
beating the lines. I got Bayern to advance at minus 114. It's down minus 140. You got a nice little team total. Let's move to minus
Nice.
180. So we're beating the lines. Let's just see if it actually if it
Yeah, let's see
cashes
if we
us.
cash and not have these CLV
Yeah.
trophies just sitting
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
us.
yeah. As much as I love a good CLV trophy, that's what I tell myself when I lose. I'll be like, I had CLV. Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one. I think the team total line on Madrid is disrespectful, but I also think that City are going to win. Just because I don't think Madrid know how to take a result off City. I'm not going to come out and say Arsenal are better than Madrid.
Uh-oh.
Nobody put those words in my mouth. But I am saying that Arsenal know how to neutralize City. We know how to neutralize a lot of teams. Now, have we made some silly mistakes recently? Yes. It's not brilliant. But when we played City in the league, we held them to no goals in both games in the league. We held them to one shot on target in both games. Madrid don't do that. And so whether you like it or not, Madrid are going to get involved in, what's going to essentially be an arms race, just who's going to outscore the other opponent because City probably won't keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to who scores more. And I think City will take their chances because they are an insanely clinical team. Because if you service Haaland in the box, he's probably going to put a chance away. And then if you stick, Rudiger on Haaland and you stop Haaland taking shots, then they're just as dangerous from range. Like, Foden can score from outside the box. Bernardo Silva can do that. De Bruyne can do that. De Bruyne and Foden and Silva have done that.
Yeah.
In the past, 3 games. I talked about it in our first episode. All those goals at the Bernabeu that City have scored came from outside the box because they're focusing so much on neutralizing Haaland, which you do have to do. Like, that's the necessary first step. But then the second step is shutting down the midfield, which Madrid don't really do very well. So I think when it just comes down to who has the statistical advantage and who's more dangerous in different ways, I lean City, as much as that pains me to say it. But also, it's kind of a win-win for me because if City lose and Madrid go through, then I can say that City suck. But if City win, then I can keep pushing my Premier League is the best league in the world agenda, and La Liga fans can go suck a dick. So I'm winning either way, honestly. If grand scheme of things, I can take a positive result and spin it the way I want it to, no matter the outcome. So just give me goals, give me shots, and the outcome I'll worry about later.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited for this match. I mean, I really am. Obviously, like as a Madrid fan, but like these City Madrid games have just been fun and
Yeah.
exciting to watch. So yeah.
A lot of fun. Anyway, that does it for the Champions League. Why don't we get a quick little round table and just summarize who you think is going through to the semi-finals? What does your semi-final matchup look like? Brad, I'll kick it over to you first.
Semifinal matchup. We're gonna have PSG versus Atletico. We're going to have Bayern versus Manchester City.
You think PSG are getting by Barca?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, I'm not taking all the favorites. That would just be boring. So, of
True.
all the ones who aren't favored, I picked the one who's down on aggregate. Make it fun, right?
Interesting. Okay, well, that would be cool. Mr. Pitch.
I think I'm gonna go with PSG as well. And then I'm probably gonna go with Atletico. So PSG, Atletico, and then I'm gonna go with Arsenal and Real Madrid.
Okay. Okay.
There you go. Stick by your boys through thick and thin. I freaking love it.
I saw
Have
the
to.
look on your face, and I was just like, "Yeah, he's pained. He's considering taking City right now." And then you've gone against it, so fair
Yeah,
play. No. I'm going to be boring for Tuesday, but I'm going to be boring for a reason because it's going to lead us into our best bets section. Because my best bet is quite literally Atletico and Barcelona to qualify. It's -130 on FanDuel. I think when you have a goal lead going into a second leg, that's pretty significant. And Barcelona haven't lost since January, and they get a home matchup. So I'm not really concerned. Even if they lose, even if they lose by one, I would still lean them an extra time just because I think they have more players they can bring off the bench. I rate Ter Stegen as a goalkeeper. I think Donnarumma can have mistakes in him. And also PSG are just going to have to run Mbappé for 120 minutes, which, didn't work for France. It's not enough. You need more. You need more than that. Didn't work for France in the World Cup final. So I lean Barca at home, and then Atletico do have to go away to Germany, but I don't really see how Dortmund get a result. So Barca and Atletico for me, that is an official play that I just locked in. So that's -130 on FanDuel just to qualify. And then, as much as it pains me to say it, I want to stick by my guns, but I'm going to say Bayern and I'm going to say City. I don't want that to be the case, but that's what I think is going to happen. And if I'm wrong, then Arsenal enter a semi-final in the Champions League for the first time since, I'm assuming, 2006 when we made it to the final. So that's how I think this is going to go.
You were a
But
wee lad.
yeah, yeah, I was. That was my first season as an Arsenal fan. It was
That's
05,
awesome.
06. Yeah. Sadly, I was only about 4 or 5 years old when the Invincible season happened, so I was too young to be properly introduced to the sport. And then
Yeah.
it's been pain ever since. So I've only ever been an Arsenal fan during the sad times, which is pretty miserable, unfortunately. But it is what it is. But
That shows you're a true fan, though.
Oh, I am a true fan. No one can ever doubt me of that. You've seen me on Twitter. No one can ever doubt me and say I'm not a true fan. But that does bring us very nicely into our best bets segment. I've already covered mine, Atletico and Barcelona to qualify, -130 on FanDuel. But that leaves you two guys. So, Brad, if you want to give me your best bet, I would love to hear it.
Yeah. So I talked about it already for the first leg. That was Manchester City team total over 1.5. I had to get creative because I was gonna give Manchester City team total over, and it was super juice. So I wanted to make it a little bit more fun. Just to give you guys a little insight of our group chat, I told Sam that I was taking City team total over 1.5 goals and over 1.5 total goals in PSG, and he thought I was taking PSG team total. I don't know how much more clear I need to make it.
I guess.
But that gets you around -120 odds. I think that we're going to see multiple goals in PSG versus Barca, especially with PSG chasing. And I don't think PSG's defense is enough for anybody to be like, oh, we think we're going to get a clean sheet by PSG on the road. We talked about this already. It just basically a juice reducer for me.
Fair enough. God forbid a man ask for clarity, Brad. God forbid.
I just wanted to give you a hard time. That's all.
Fair enough. BTP, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going with over 3 at +100 for in the City Madrid game.
I like it.
Just feel like it's going to be another one of those games. The last 3 Champions League games in Manchester versus these two have seen 2-1, 4-3, and 4-0.
Like it.
So, is City going to keep a clean sheet? We talked about it before. No, probably not. Is City going to score? Yes, they're going to score. And I think Madrid's going to have to score multiple if they want to advance. And I think City's going to score multiple. So give me the over 3. And I just hope it's a 2-2 type match and we'll get some extra footy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Before we wrap up, gentlemen, is there anything that you guys want to plug or promote on your own end of things?
Follow me on Twitter, on X, at Mr. Brad Thomas.
Beautiful.
Same. Follow me on X, betting the pitch.
Easy.
Hell
Follow
yeah.
me on Twitter at FIFA Brit. Wow, we really got the nice clean handles, didn't we?
Yeah,
That's
we did.
good. Beautiful. Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, thank you again to the Gold Boys Network for hosting this podcast. It has been an honor to have this episode with you guys as we go and do battle in the Champions League. I'm nervous. Betting the pitch, I know you're nervous. Brad, you support a bunch of cheaters, so you don't get to play this year, but you guys are going to play next year. So, you'll join the conversation later on. And so for now, you get to watch us suffer and squirm as we deal with the brutal reality of a second leg in the Champions League where the game is not at all wrapped up. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun sweating bets and sweating buckets as I watch Arsenal. We will catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to leave us a nice 5-star review, whether you listen on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a nice review, and if you cash in our bets, let us know. Tag us on Twitter. Let's see those winning slips. I will catch you guys in the next one. Pleasure doing business with you, and have a good night.